bit loud for your nap time. You just went for a really long walk all the way to the garage, to his pond, and then back. Heat from the wood stove makes him feel very sleepy, so his eyes are dozing off. You gonna rest here while we work?
Probably not.
We have a kitchen to build. We're not gonna make very good dinners if we don't make a kitchen. Have a good dinner. Close your eyes.
Let's see if he'll leave.
You heard Daddy say we're gonna leave?
If you get up, will he follow?
Yeah. Yep. What we're gonna do? Wanna go outside for a minute? No, we didn't think we were gonna do it. It's freezing out there. It's freezing today. Oh, you wanna play? Here you go. There you go. You think you're a human. We are in the room that is now super echoey because we've spent the last 4 full days taking everything out of this room. This has kind of been a little bit of a catch-all room and a room where the dogs have headed out to their little play area outside, and we haven't really utilized this space at all, other than that temporarily we put our washer and dryer into this space because there was never a hookup in this house ever for laundry. So I don't know what the previous owners ever did. Maybe they just hand washed all their clothes, but we definitely wanted to have a washer and dryer, and so we temporarily had it set up into this space. This room has big wood beams that need to be restored because someone got a lot of paint on them and they weren't really cared for, I don't think, over the years of them kind of like putting different things in this room. We obviously are going to be building an entire kitchen and eat-in spot in this room.
What?
So the original kitchen was a very small room, which was maybe about 10 by 14. And we thought once we canceled our first kitchen order that it really made so much sense. One night Philip was like, why are we putting the kitchen in the big room? And I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that until now? And so we're really excited about the plan that we have to be able to utilize this huge spot that we really have no other use for to be able to make a really grand kitchen. And we've never had a kitchen that was really more than about 3 feet of counter space and a sink. At the old house, we had an incredibly small kitchen. And so this is kind of the plan of what we're going to do in this space. So this back wall right here, as you can see, I've already labeled this wall stove. I put some dimensions here. Our stove is going to fit in this area right here. We've done a little bit of preliminary measurements just to be able to know how things are going to go into this space. Because we have these 2 windows on either side, these are great big windows, but great viewed windows because we get to look out over to where our coop is for our ducks and chickens, and we will have a garden and everything outside. So it's gonna be nice, maybe put a little herb garden or something out there. But we're going to have lower cabinetry on the bottom part here. Because we have a doorway here, our cabinets are going to stop at the end of this window space here. And so there's going to be a section of countertop and cupboards, our stove, and then a section of countertops and cupboards that's going to take us to approximately the middle of this window here. In this area here, you can see there's a hole in the wall already. And this area is really grimy. This has been a spot that someone previously had a wood stove. I don't know exactly what they had glued down. It's a disaster, but this is actually going to be where the wood stove, you wanna go outside, boy? So this is the spot where someone previously had a wood stove, and we are actually going to be putting in the second wood stove in our house in the corner here in our homesteading kitchen. We selected one that had a more flat top to it so that if we had power outages, we would be able to cook with the wood stove, which I'm excited about. I've never done it. I think it will be a great addition to have not only some more heat around our main floor, but also to have a spot that I can cook when we do have those outages. We have had 9 power outages since the last week of November in our location that have been for 5+ hours. for us to have a spot to cook when we don't have our electricity going. Okay, so that's not gonna be enough counter space. And so we wanna build a grand island that's going to be about 3 feet deep by about 7 feet. Today we're going to tape line and measure it out, basically like a faux island shape with tape on the floor, and really get our perfect measurements so that we can order tomorrow our actual countertop that we've now selected and we know what one we're gonna get. It's going to go on the island here and it's going to match the countertop that's going to be behind on either side of the stove. This countertop is going to transition into our butler pantry, which is going to be washer and dryer, like our whole laundry room, homesteading pantry. We're even gonna have our fridge in that location, which I'll explain later. I know a lot of you are commenting about where we're gonna put the fridge. And it's going to transition, so everything from the kitchen area here is going to flow into that huge pantry area, which is going to be incredible. And we have that built-in cabinet that's on the wall that's original to the house, which will be for all of our baking stuff, which I'm excited about doing that. So because we've actually taken over the dining room of the house for my studio, we need to have an eat-in dining room spot. So this room is grand enough for us to be able to have our entire kitchen here, which the island will go somewhere along here. And then we will have this whole other side here to be able to do an eat-in dining room spot where we'll be right there where we access everything for the kitchen. Our washer and dryer is not going to be in here. It's going to be in that butler pantry. And so this space is actually going to have upper open shelving with live edge. He's like, life with 4 dogs. So this is going to have some cabinetry at the bottom. It's going to be pretty shallow for dishes and everything. And there's going to be some live edge shelving that we're going to be making that's going to go above. We are also today going to be removing all of the flooring. We have already removed the flooring that was in the butler pantry. And today we need to take up the flooring that's been in this room. This flooring is very particle board on the bottom and it has seen water before. So we do not want to leave this in here. There's quite a few really deep gouge scratches in the floor. I'm assuming from previous owners here at some point. It's in terrible condition. It cannot be reused. And because we know when we got here that there was a great big pool of water, that this needs to come up. And so we're gonna do that waterproofing flooring that we've done throughout the rest of the house in both of these spaces. So we're gonna get this up. And then today we're gonna measure out where everything's gonna go and plan out the design of the kitchen.
I don't know how much I got because I got distracted because of your puppy.
My adorable dog. Yeah. I know we get so many comments. How do you ever get anything done when you have 4 adorable puppies in this?
It's very difficult.
It's pretty difficult. 4 of them.
Yeah.
Pry bar.
Pry bar.
Window to throw the flooring out because we're gonna have that taken away. So we're just gonna put it in a pile so that can get removed. And then we don't even really know for sure what's underneath this flooring.
No, it'll probably just be plywood because this was built on after.
This was an addition, I forgot. Yeah, okay, so this was an addition that was put on, but we don't know when. So you're right, that won't be the same flooring underneath. And then we're gonna be getting some of the fireboard off the wall where the wood stove was because we're gonna be doing some tiling behind and then kind of resetting where all that's gonna go because we wanna make sure that that's all done to code, which we don't know what they have underneath. So we have lots of work ahead of us today. 2, 4, that gives us 48. We have to be 53 and a half, so we kind of need a half, little less than half pallet. But I think what you said, we'll start from the front and work our way back. So we don't want it to stick out like a lot further than we really need it to.
Right.
Because then we're interfering with where stuff's gonna go.
Well, if it doesn't stick out any further than the beam, or will it?
I'm gonna 53 and a half. I'm gonna leave there. So we would do a square line here, start these full tiles here, and then have the part ones at the back because it's gonna be behind the wood stove and you're not gonna even see it. And then our stone that will go up the wall and across the back will be non-combustible. And then this is non-combustible wall here. And then when we build the side cabinet that will be here, we need to be 20 inches and we'll have the non-combustible side built on the side of the cabinet, and then we'll build the face front on the front.
Right.
So you won't see it, it'll look like the side of the counter anyways. We need to have more space this way, but we don't have to have tile there, right? Stove's gonna be here. This is where the handle reaches out to, but this is where I'm just going straight across the back, how deep the actual cupboards are going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to be as deep as the stove, but the handle just sticks out a little further. And so when we're measuring our clearance between the handle of the stove where it pulls down in our island, we want to make sure we have enough room for the size of the island that we want to do. And we're only going to here because we have a doorway and we want 36-inch clearance from the doorway. Is usually pretty comfortable. Only read 800,000 kitchen design things for measurements online. 36 clearance on hallways and walkways is usually pretty good. Okay. Visualize cupboard system, drawers, doors, whatever. Stove, cupboard system, drawers, doors, whatever. Wood stove with the proper clearances. Not a huge counter space at the back, so island is going to be key. Okay, so now we have to decide how long. We think we want a 3-foot deep island because our farmhouse sink is quite large and it's going to go in the middle. So I want to have some counter space on both sides of that as well as some from the far side. So how far do we want to be from opening the oven? Right. Which we know to be about 48 inches from the wall because we kind of did like a demo opening our stove and measuring in the where it's sitting right now, where we would be standing at the sink. So I think if we can go 48 inches and we have the room for that, I think that would be better from the handle front, but let's see how far that takes us. So that's 36. So there's 48 from handle.
Okay.
You're there. Pull down the stove. Like if it was all the way down, I know it's about close to 2 feet. Enough butt room to like pull the stove out, right? And then sink here. So sink's gonna go kind of like the same center to where the stove is on the island, right? Okay, so then if we were going to go a 3-foot deep island, where in the room does that take us? So if this is the start of the island, 3 feet takes us there.
Okay.
And sink's gonna go up to like about 18 inches deep into the counter. So we're gonna have a good another 18 inches of counter space on that side. The stove's gonna be inset into the tile a little bit, 18 inches, so we don't need like a ton of room behind, but you don't really want an island protruding to this doorway. If the island doesn't go any further than maybe the edge, like start it to line up with that.
Yeah, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so this is just an invisible line here. How far are we from the door then? We want to be at least 36. Oh, we're like almost 5 feet. We're hoping to do, originally we said 8 feet, but we think that's going to be too long, right?
I don't know until we have it kind of mapped out. We can do the tape.
Okay, this.
Oh, yeah.
That's 8 feet. So we're still 36 to the door.
Are we 30?
But here, if we were in this Eden spot over here, and we were going to walk into the butler pantry room, you'd be going like this.
You're going on a hike.
You're going on you're going too far.
Right?
There's no like straight path, so I'm thinking I'm gonna move this again and it's gonna be not square again. Okay, 6 inches.
We have it this time.
There. Okay. So we brought the stove in. I backed up, and my butt would have been in the island. So I didn't leave myself enough clearance. Even though online it tells me that 48 inches should be sufficient between the front of my stove and my starting point of my island. Baloney, because my butt would be in my sink. So I needed to give myself an extra 6 inches approximately because I was exaggerating my pull down. Like this is where we have the island front. So this would be where my sink would be, where this blue tape starts. And so if I was opening my stove and I was going to like bend over to get something into it, I'm kind of like in my sink, kinda. Like, I mean, that's an exaggerated open, but we want to have enough room where it's comfortable. So I feel like an extra 6 inches booty space isn't gonna hurt anybody because we have the room. So we're just gonna move it this way 6 inches and then we'll know we've got enough room. That gives us more space here.
Yeah.
Which we were looking for more space.
Yeah.
For that. Let's check the exaggerated stove opening. Am I in the sink?
A little better though.
Okay, yeah, much better. I don't need that much room to open the stove. And then sink will be lined up with where the stove is, but on the island. And there's tons of room this way to head out. Like,
yeah,
we can
that's
dance.
even better.
We can dance in the kitchen.
Yeah, I like that. It makes it open more. We need it needed to be back further.
And this direction into Butler Pantry is so much easier to access, to be able to get all the like cooking supplies and everything that will be stored in there.
Yeah.
Such an easy flow through.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be insanely awesome to have that because we've never even had like cupboard pantry where we could put food. At the other house, we literally had 2 upper cabinets to put dishes in and 2 lowers with a drawer. Like there was no storage in the kitchen. So we had to get really creative of where we were going to store food elsewhere in the house, which doesn't make sense. It should be in your kitchen pantry area, like super easy to access, right? So I'm going to feel like I have a whole grocery store at my disposal, like right in the kitchen, just having it so close, which is great. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, babe.
And I love that I have the 2 large windows, like in the back, like bringing light, like big light.
Like they're
into
not large, but I like that
No.
there's 2 windows there.
And these windows
Natural light.
look just to our property.
Yeah.
And so I don't even think I'll probably put any window coverings or anything on these. I'll leave them open and maybe have some type of like little herb garden hang or something in one of the windows.
You can actually see the chickens and ducks.
Yeah, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And then this patio door here is the door currently that the dogs run in and out of, as you can see the paw prints.
Yeah.
But this will be decked to where we will have eventually outdoor eating, like an outdoor dining room table, like barbecue, seating outside to be able to eat seasonally outside.
Ooh,
So this gives me like flow through to get to what we'll be doing there. And then eat-in kitchen spot here, where we do have the front kitty corner of the house here. So I do have coverings that will be on these windows, just so at night they can be closed up with the eat-in spot. There's so much room on this side. So we're literally using half the room for kitchen and half the room for the dining room area, like flow through to the rest of the house.
Well, so far I love the layout, hun, and I can't wait to get started on putting the flooring in.
I don't know how I'm gonna sleep all week knowing we're every day like adding something else to this space. It's crazy exciting.